Olukoya, she traveled. But don't know why. Don't know why.
Okay, yeah, problem. How? Can we start? You guys ready?
We are
Sit down. Who's this?
ready. Okay. Your
A couple of days ago, because of my understanding of the globally recognized appropriate way of campaigning, I decided to have an engagement with political editors and news editors in Lagos, essentially to define and espouse how the campaign will go, to give what is called a pre-campaign briefing, and to answer some questions on issues related to my aspiration. I thank our colleagues that I've had a lot of comments, positive ones from far and near, because of the justice they did to that our pally. But it is in my habit to also understand that you, my colleagues in Abeokuta, you truly are the first line of the ownership of this conversation and this effort. And so notwithstanding what I've done in Lagos, I thought that if charity must truly begin at home, it's important I come to you all and then come and engage you, explain myself, give you an update of where things are, that you won't be confused, and entertain a few questions that may come up. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, once again. We will, I will say it this way. The journey to where we are today is, as it were, a well thought out, deliberate, needful contribution, first to democracy and to governance. I am firmly convinced that political parties in themselves are the first safeguards in a democracy. And given that, there are processes leading to how candidates emerge is part of the democratic process. Otherwise, it's possible for them to create a fait accompli if strong men of stellar character do not stand up to say this is the right way things should be done. You are aware that we had two congresses. I had one. I consider what they have not to be appropriately done, and you know I am in court with them on that. Luckily, the Court of Appeal has conferred jurisdiction where I expect jurisdiction to exist. And that means that we're still in some kind of tussle. The background to it is that they didn't follow the extant law, the rules, the regulation, and the simple dictum of fairness, justice, and equity, and that you can't build something on such a weak foundation. I bent backwards over to write the party way before we got to court to say, look, this is what's going on here. Come and attend to it. But like you know, when all fails, the court is the place we must go, lest we resort to self-help. Now that we are in court, I'm fully confident that I am the candidate of the People's Democratic Party of Nigeria for the gubernatorial election in Ogun State. And I wanted to say that I'm running on a new deal, sincerely said. Now, what is a new, why did I choose to call it a new deal? I have looked at the governance space in Nigeria and in Ogun in particular, And I am convinced that we cannot keep doing things the way we've been doing them and expect an outcome that is different from the ones we've been having marginally. I do not accept that Ogun can afford to have a very high number of out-of-school children who are no longer interested in education. I do not accept that given our pedigree, peer review exams like NECO, WAEC, and such exams will be dipping so low compared to states who maybe 10, 20 years ago, we probably scorned them because we felt they were not really embracing education. I do not accept that whatever it is that we call our health interventions really gives no comfort to the citizens directly in a manner that every citizen of the state can have an idea of precisely how the health intervention and the health budget of the state touches it. I truly do not accept that underneath the present socioeconomic situation of the country, Nigeria, where security has become a very big issue, I do not accept that states or subnational governments can afford to throw their hands in the air or pretend that they are securing the people in an opaque manner that does not confer the psychology of security even on the citizens. I do not also accept that we can be dealing with the indices of unemployment and unemployability the way we are dealing with it now, with no practical, tangible, sustainable, and strong profiles and process on how we want to take care of it. And I do not accept that our processes will not come to the realization that you cannot run any state, and Ogun being the place that I'm interested in, you can't run it from one location in Okemoso, which is our state government office. That I believe that the world is moving very fast. People are no longer talking about national boundaries and national ideology because of the challenge of globalization. People the world over now are beginning to pay attention to city-state concepts. By city-state concept, what people are saying is that contraptions that look like the one we have, which are like states here, must now begin to think themselves out of the challenges they have in such a manner that everybody within that space understands the vision, understands their role in it, understands their contribution, and also understands their benefits. And all of this put together has been the driving force. So I want to say to you, my colleagues, that we're going to run a very intelligent campaign, a campaign that is issue-based, a campaign that puts the candidate before you to answer questions on why, on how, and on when. Because if you look at our country now, there is no point in flogging a dead horse. We're practically at a point where the federal government, which in my opinion is still the most responsible part of our government, is borrowing money to meet obligations within the unusual type of federating arrangement we have where states and local government get money from the federal government. Some element of responsibility now beholds the states and local government to creatively use their money better than they are using it now, to ensure that they are not basically leaving all the work to the federal government. And to give you some practical examples of what I mean, if you see that a state that owns Obafemi Awolowo, who contributed Obafemi Awolowo to the world and to the Yoruba nation, if you see that you are having issues with out-of-school children, you need to go deep to look. Why are people now unwilling to go to school? What you will find is that the children of the rich, and those whose parents can afford it, they never become out of school. They most often finish education. They most often go to university. They most often get sent abroad. But the children of the poor seems to be where we're having that big, huge challenge. Why? I hold the view that like what we have found in some other strong economies of the world, is because you are leaving them to be unwilling to appreciate, recognize, and enjoy education at the very base of education ladder, which is nursery and kindergarten education. Most nations in the world who are paying attention to human capital development know that you must level the space. The federal government has given us the universal basic education, which starts at primary school, which is the basis of the SUBEB program. For our new towns, somebody is responsible for our border town. How do you explain to yourself as a big coming mega city, because of our proximity to Lagos, how do you rationalize that all of your border towns are unattended and you're happy to run your state only from the capital? Whatever it is you want to do at the capital, you have to smell the coffee and understand that most of your future income and the people are within your border towns. People who are living in Lagos, who are working in Lagos and living in Ogun, paying taxes here. You need to go there. So I feel that we're coming to really disrupt the status quo. And we're coming to say that everybody, including my good self, will be accountable. One of the great burden of Nigeria, Ogun inclusive, is that we have created a process whereby people just come into government, do the bit they can, leave government, no consequence. I'm not even as upset about whether they take money or they don't take money as I am as upset at how they do projects that will not stand the test of time. I already have an executive bill prepared, which I'm going to introduce from day one, whereby if I do a project, if you do a project in Ogun, you will be liable to the maintenance of that project up to the shelf life. Let me break it down to make it easy so everybody knows what is coming. It will give you a code. But I want you to know it's not about me, it's even about you and your kids as well. If tomorrow, Dimeji Adedeji's child runs into my child on the field of play in politics, should it be acceptable that my child will be telling Dimeji's child that his father is Showunmi and is rich? What's the meaning of that? Democracy has leveled the space for all of us. The mass of us are more than the few of them. At any point in time, the majority must always carry the day. And I want to thank you profoundly, my colleagues, for the support you've given me, for standing by me. I want to call on you to cooperate even more and to say to you that, why not? We have popularized them. We have supported them. We have made them look even nicer than they deserve. It's now time for us to do it for one of us. Thank you very much. My name is all issues together. You know, the painful thing about life, as I have now come to see it within this journey, is that it appears as if in this part of the world, we're running the risk that we're going to say that people who go about with a lot of humility are poor. You know? Let me say that again. It appears as if in our part of the world, we're coming to a point, if we're not very careful, where we'll think that people who go about with a lot of humility and reverence are without means. It is unfortunate because normally what we know about life is that humility is a virtue that God likes. First of all, a penny has not come. In fact, I've even insisted that a fundraising should not be done only because of that insinuation. I have the ability within me, my family, and my very, very close relative to fund this campaign and fund it embarrassingly lavishly. Let me say that again. I have the ability within me, my family, and my very close associate to fund this campaign embarrassingly lavishly. When I bought the form, at the time I was, the form was sold on a Friday. I was in Owerri doing a town hall meeting. That town hall meeting was on Saturday. I already arrived in Owerri before they opened the sales of form. My colleagues, he bought his own that day, got the escort to buy his own for him that day, according to his words. And when he had bought his form, they put it out there that he's bought his form. And unfortunately, I had to do a town hall in Owerri. I had to finish it. The earliest I could get to Abuja was Sunday. Sunday is not a working day. And within 24 hours, I could feel, may God not, you better work hard and not be poor. I'm advising you and my colleagues. I could feel the, sniggering, the comments, they bought the form. I sat up after my town hall meeting because I went to deliver the lecture. And I started asking myself that, Segun, show me. Is it your shoes that is poor? Let's start from that. You will never catch me dead other than in a Rosal and Bromley. Those are by appointment of the Queen of England. Is it your clothes? Is it the food you eat? Is it the house you live? Is it your father? Is it your brother? I did a full audit of my entire family. And I said to myself that this is an insult. Okay, no problem. Maybe because we go about humbly. Is it the car I drive? I live in the midst of these people now. Is it my... Who of them? Okay. So on Sunday, I caused an expensive process for the buying of the form. I was that angry. I flew people in their hundreds into Abuja, all of them by flight. I got them lavishly put in hotel at my expense. I mobilized them there. I brought in the media in the biggest way that even I'm not sure any presidential candidate bought his form that way. And when I got the form and I finally bought the form, I told my close associate that I am so puked by this, their arrogance. I feel like tearing it and sending you to go back to the bank to buy another one. I was that irritated. Why am I irritated? Why do you think somebody has to pay me? Does the things I'm saying I want to do in government resemble the talk of a non-entity? I came back from England to start living in Abeokuta there about 1998, 99. I came into the country. I was living in Abuja. And I used to do stuff in Abuja for the party and all that. At the point I now said to myself, am I not going to go home? I considered Lagos hard. And then I started living in Abeokuta. And between 1999 to 2019, I've been Deputy Chief Press Secretary to Governor Daniel. I've been Special Advisor, Media and Economic Planning. I've been Director of Organization of the party. I've been spokesperson of President Campaign. I've done all that. Never did I ever even attempt to say I want to contest. Why? Because I told myself that you can't lead a people until you live in their midst to know them. And I gave myself 20 years. The first time I was invited to come and be governor in Ogun State was in 2007. One of the political parties haven't heard me talk over the years said, come and be governor. I said, you can't be governing people you don't know. I need to be able to look and say, where is this man? Where is Dawood? Where is Ayodeji? And they need to know me. Let me just answer you straight away. I promise you, I will run this governorship campaign in the most lavish manner without the cover of anybody. Anyone who wants to pay me will have to start at maybe sub 10 billion. My father was a former military ambassador to Nigeria. My father was a former deputy director of Army Finance. My father was a procurement officer for the Nigerian Air Force to start. My father was a procurement officer to buy the first Navy ship in this country. I can show you pictures of my father and the Queen of England eating, and Yakubu Gowon. I'm the son of a soldier, guys. My family members within their net asset alone. If I tell my kid brother that you are broke, because I'm even the poorest in their midst because of this politics thing. If he says, Egbon, you are broke, you know you are this, yeah, politics. I can't get less than an alert of 5 million naira. Not that time. Have you not guys not been seeing me at parties? Have you seen me go to a function with them and they are, anyway. Owó lè là ń lò, a ò máa yáwó fi ṣe láwò. Owó lè nìyẹn. In terms of, they say the media is helping me. Go and look at their house, where they live, and go and look at my own. You want me to give you a tour? Go and look at my house, where I live. It's in Ibarra. Go and look at their own in Peru. Come and compare. If you want to see their father's house, go to their father's house. Come to my father's house on Allen Avenue. Let me come and show you. I grew up in a house that had a squash court as a small boy. I had a squash court. Most people in the Kenya environs, I taught them to play squash. And people are, just because we go around like this, is it the car that I'm driving that is poor? Or the food I'm eating? Who is the person that is going to bribe me to come and help him? In terms of whether I'm the candidate, don't worry yourself. We have gone this route before with them. You know, the problem they have, really, is that the PDP as a political party has a penchant for not obeying the law. May the soul of Buruji Kashamu rest in peace. When he was alive, it was easy for people to say he's an excessive overdoer or there was some manipulation and all of that. But he is not there now. And I am not Buruji, and I don't angle myself in the society like that. And yet, I am still getting judgment by the arguments put before the court. What's the issue? You want to do primaries for us. You bought form for one of us. We allege that this is not right. We gave you an escape. Organize it without the filthy hands of these guys so that if they are going to beat us, they can beat us fair. We wrote you at the national. We copied organizing. We copied national secretary. Everybody was aware. I flew down. I wrote it in a court for evidence of service. You can't bend backward over more than that. And then we went to court. And for those of you who are saying, has there been a declarative judgment? You are just in a hurry. The court refused the self-jurisdiction. You are going to get a declarative judgment soon. You will get a declarative judgment because the principle of law is clear. The court cannot say an injury has taken place without giving a commensurate and immediate relief. The injury that has taken place has invalidated everything they have. So at the end of the day, they can run into the underground of the earth. They can produce their ill-gotten wealth. They can flaunt it everywhere they want. But just like the media is the fourth realm of the estate, and the pen is mightier than the sword, and demagogues have been reduced to nothing because of just the stroke of the pen, so also the Lady of Justice is extremely firm, extremely fair, and extremely diligent. And in due season, you better start getting ready for those of you who want to be in my cabinet, because I will form government. Areas of fake news. And then they will meet strong ethical journalists in such. This facility is a privately run facility. Anybody who walks in here and tells them he wants to rent a hall, if you are not one of questionable character or behave in an unruly manner, they'll rent it to you. They have accommodation that is for hire. You can sleep there. I wanted to take you all to Iwe-Iroyin, but I thought that if I took your senior colleagues to a beautiful ambience in Lagos, the least I could do is look for a beautiful ambience that is small. My dear brother, do not be deceived. And I'm telling you emphatically, nobody has enough resources to buy me off this. Nobody has enough resources to at a point I even told the party, the secretary, I said, okay, put a bill to it and put a date that we should bring it. You know? So it's not, it's paid. It is not every government that acts like a deranged animal that will not allow people move in the state. To Dr. Abeokuta's credit, I have never felt any irritation, any disturbance as a result of being in opposition. No. But if that is what you are thinking is the reason why no. The days of you can't walk in town, you can't sleep in town, you can't talk in town because somebody is a governor is over. And I promise you, I will reciprocate the good gesture. I will be a governor that is accommodating of everybody. In fact, I will even do more than them. They don't allow OGTV and what's the other one, OGBC to carry us. In my government, everybody will be able to use it. Because I don't think that the reimaging and the remarketing of Ogun State that I have in mind includes using the entire Ministry of Information apparatus and the apparatus of information only to be following the governor and his wife all over the place. They have better jobs to do, so that's that. In terms of would I accommodate them? Look, one day I was sitting in Abuja and one of my friends who should know, one of the leaders, was saying, you're always calling Ladi your brother. Because that's where the issue is. You're always calling Ladi your brother. You're always calling everyone. I said, look, I call him my brother because I want us to be able to disagree without being disagreeable. I want us to be able to hold our position without necessarily becoming enemies. I want us to be able to understand that you have your right and you're entitled to protect it. I have my right and I'm entitled to protect it. But all of these, our rights, must not deprive us of our humanity or our shared, process of being citizens of Ogun State or even be members of the same party. It is not me who will not accommodate them. They are the ones who have a history of not standing when it doesn't favor them. Between 1998 to date, if you want me, I can be giving you Russia's date and time that I have been doing PDP, whether it favors or it didn't favor. In 2019, where were they? Where was I? In 2011, I was Deputy Chief Press Secretary to Otuma Daniel. Issues did not favor us in court with Big Guy Seka, who were protecting then. What did they do? What did I do? They left. I held the view that we cannot be a society that insists that the only laws we will obey are the ones that favor us. That for us to be able to deepen this space, we must have the courage to rejoice when the law favors us and also the discipline to accept when the law does not favor us. It doesn't mean that it cannot favor another person. I stood, they left. I have planned my campaign, having at the back of my mind their history of always running to go and do deals. The last time they did a deal with APM, I can still bring you evidence of the receipts. I was here doing PDP. So if the judgment finally comes, and when the judgment finally comes, you will notice I'm very confident. Yeah, when you know what you're doing, you will know what is there. When it finally comes and a declarative order comes, which will say, yep, Segun Showunmi is your candidate, and I'm going to be running for governor, I'll plan that they should all come and let us work together. But I will not allow them to prevent me from winning, because the total election map of Ogun State is beyond just the number of people in a political party. And more than anybody else in this state that has tried to be governor, my voice has been very loud on the issues in this state like forever. So I even expect that my campaign should be a walk in the park. Once I get there, I'll just say, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sincerely said, I'm governor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Colleague, I want to use this opportunity to thank you.
Now, my question is this.
Yes.
Your party and some of the political... now, my question is this.
Yes.
Your party and some of the political...
Clearly set to run that campaign that is special. However, the issue of former governorship candidate is not in the case at all. Is in the race. So you heard you heard from him directly, and he sincerely said. So that has been pronounced. So I want to thank you, and I believe that you are going to support us to do the right thing. Thank you, and God bless.
Support us.